the best AI sports betting tool, and I'm going to show you guys exactly why in this video. What we're going to do in this video is we're going to take ChatGPT and we're going to compare that to the Linemaker AI that's built for sports betting and see exactly what the differences really are and which one you can actually use and which one's better. Let's go ahead and jump into the laptop so that way you guys can see exactly how this looks. So let's go ahead and break down exactly between the two AIs. We're going to use ChatGPT and we're going to use the Linemaker AI. We're going to break down the Game 5 matchup between the Cavs and the Pistons. First, let's start with ChatGPT. Okay, I've asked both the same exact question. Give me the best bets in the NBA for this game tonight. Here's the answers for ChatGPT. So, the market is heavily leaning towards Detroit at home, and most the sharp/public consensus sources are lining up around the same angles. Here's how I'd play it. Best spread bet: Pistons -4 or 4.5. Detroit has been dominant at home this postseason, 5-1 home playoff record, while Cleveland is still winless on the road in the playoffs. It gives you just the basic spread, pretty much, and then the reasons why are not really analytical reasons. Okay, it's just giving you, like, Detroit's defense and pace control have looked much better at home. Cleveland shooting splits crater away from home. Like, these are not analytical data points to make sense of why it's picking that. Okay, then let's get down to the next thing here. The best total, under 212.5. Playoff pace has slowed way down and Detroit wants the game in the mud. Cavs averaging barely 100 points per game in road playoff games. Like, it gives you a generic reasoning behind why it's picking what it's picking. This is why, like, ChatGPT is not designed for sports betting. Okay, it'll give you, like, an answer, but the answer is generic. Like, this is a generic answer for sure. Like, there's no analytical data backing any of this stuff that it's showing. Then best player prop: Donovan Mitchell over 27.5 points. Even in Cleveland's bad road performances, Mitchell has been carrying 35-43 in his last 2 games. So now, just because he scored 35-43 in the last 2 games doesn't mean that's a good reason why he's going to go over 27.5 points here. Okay, and then the odds that it's giving you for the plays, these are all basic -110 odds. Okay, that's what these are that it's giving you. Next one's going to be sneaky prop, would be Evan Mobley over 3.5 assists. This is quietly cashed every game in the series. Cleveland is using him as a facilitator against Detroit's pressure defense. And it gives you a same game parlay. It says I'd sprinkle Pistons money line under 212.5 and Donovan Mitchell to get 30+ points. What ChatGPT spits out here is pretty much the most basic stuff that you could possibly get. Okay, there's no analytical data. You don't see any analytical data behind any of this stuff. Okay, this is just generic responses. That's literally all it is. So people will go and bet based off of this type of stuff. And you just can't, because you can't trust this type of thing because it's not pulling the correct data that you need. Now let's go over to Linemaker AI. Let's see what the difference is here. First suggestion: Detroit Pistons plus 6.5 alternate spread. So I gave you an alternate spread and switched the basic -110 here. While the Pistons are favored by 3.5 to 4.5 across most books, taking the alternate spread of plus 6.5 provides a massive safety net. The Pistons have been dominant at home, winning their last 5 games at Little Caesars Arena by an average margin of 11.6 points. Historical trends for Game 5 home favorites in a 2-2 series are staggering. These teams are 64 and 18 straight up. Cleveland has lost 6 consecutive road games and is 0-6 against the spread in their last 6 away contests. The Pistons' defense at home allows just 102.6 points per game, and they have yet to allow an opponent to cross the 112 mark in Detroit this postseason. With the Pistons' ability to control the glass and Cleveland's road shooting woes, this alternate line is a lock. So it gives you the exact pick of what you should do and the exact reasoning with analytical data behind that reasoning. Alright, let's go to the next option here. Next option is going to be the under 222.5 alternate total. So this one gave you under 212, which is the basic line, which says here the standard line is set at 212.5. But moving the line to 22.5 offers significant value. The under hit in both games played in Detroit to open the series. Game 5s typically feature increased defensive intensity and a slower tempo as teams prioritize ball security and half-court execution. Detroit ranks 10th in defensive rating, 112.5, and 11th in points per possession allowed, 113.5. Cleveland's road offense has been stagnant, failing to score more than 101 points in either of the first 2 games in Detroit. With both teams likely to tighten up defensively in a swing game, staying under 222.5 provides a high probability cushion. Alright, so we have another one that's an alternate total and a good reasoning behind that alternate total. Now let's get down to the player props that it's suggesting. Player prop we have here is James Harden to not get a double-double. James Harden has become the primary facilitator for the Cavaliers as they move Donovan Mitchell off ball to maximize the scoring. Harden recorded a double-double in Game 4 with 24 points and 11 assists. He hit the over on this prop only 27.16% of the time in the games this season. The Pistons are heavily reliant on drop coverage in the pick and roll, a scheme Harden has historically dismantled. By forcing the Detroit bigs to stay home, Harden creates easy lob opportunities for Evan Mobley and Jarrett Allen. With that said, the true probability of him not getting a double-double heavily outweighs the defensive concept from the Pistons. So James Harden to not get a double-double is your play there, and your reasoning behind it there. It gives you the extra percentage of how many times he's been able to do that this season. Next up, Jarrett Allen to get 1 assist. Jarrett Allen has been a consistent secondary playmaker for the Cavs, recording at least 1 assist in 9 of his last 10 games. Last season, he hit the over on the 1 line in 46.27% of his games. In 7 games against the Pistons this season, he has averaged 1.71 assists. Detroit's defensive focus will be on containing Mitchell and Harden's penetration, which often leaves Allen as the release valve in the short roll from that position. Allen is adept at finding cutters or cross-court shooters. Given his high minute floor in a pivotal Game 5, recording a single assist is a very safe bet. Then next up, Denise Jenkins to get over 1.5 3-pointers. Denise Jenkins is a classic home court role player. While his minutes dipped in Cleveland, he's expected to see an increased workload back in Detroit to provide spacing when the Cavs trap Cade Cunningham. Jenkins hit the over on this prop only 21.69% of the games this season, but his usage in the playoffs has trended upward. Cleveland's defense ranks 27th in corner 3-point percentage allowed. Like, look at these stats that it's giving you. Like, that's unmatched right there. All right, that's Cleveland's defense ranks 27th in corner 3 percentage allowed. As Detroit spams actions to get Cunningham downhill, Jenkins will be the primary beneficiary of relocation looks in the corners. With the home crowd behind him, expect Jenkins to be more aggressive from deep. So you take him to get at least 2 3-pointers. Then we get some advanced metrics here for offensive rating, defensive rating, effective field goal percentage, pace, just so that could help you in the game as well. See, the thing is like with the Linemaker AI, it's not just about the picks, okay? It's about the research and the analytical data that you have at your fingertips to be able to help you make the best educated bet that you possibly could do, okay? As for ChatGPT, it's just generic. It's going to give you a generic answer and generic reasoning behind the answer. That's all it's going to do because it's just pulling from your basic networks. That's all it's doing, okay? And that's all it can do. It can't do what Linemaker AI can do because you have to have the certain APIs inside this type of mainframe to be able to pull this type of data and be able to show the line movement and all that good stuff. But like I said, it's not just about picks. It's about having the analytical data to back everything that you're looking at. So that way you can go through, because like, for example, you could go through and ask, how many times has Denise Jenkins, went over 2 3-pointers against teams that are similar to Detroit? And it'll give you percentages on that. How many times did Jarrett Allen get 1 assist against teams that are similar to the Detroit Pistons? Not just overall, but similar. That kind of research takes hours to do. Whereas you could just type it in here and just get an answer within a couple seconds. So that's the biggest differences here between ChatGPT and the Linemaker AI is ChatGPT, generic information that'll give you just the most basic information that's out there. We get more in depth here with the Linemaker AI, where you could actually use this to make the best educated bets possible. So if you guys want a trial to the Linemaker AI so that way you guys can see for yourself exactly how it works, make sure you guys click the link in the description. As always, I'm Frank with Linemaker Sports. I'll see you guys in the next video. Till then, I'm out.